Hello folks, I am back with another product review, and this time it's on the Sauer Juliet 4 Magnifier. I know a lot of you are saying, what is up with me with all these SIG products as of late? But maybe I'll share that with you on another video. But for now, this is about the Sauer Juliet 4 Magnifier. And lately, I've been doing a lot of videos of late regarding AR type firearms, and this is a platform that I'm trying to really expand on. About the magnifier, I'm going to show you the box first. About the magnifier, it is a 4 times 24 millimeter magnifier. Here's some of the specs on the back here. It is has a 90 degree power cam quick flip away mount. What that basically is, it means that the optic itself can flip out of the way. It has a quick release mount. It is aircraft grade CNC aluminum housing, as well as height adjustment spacers, so you can even those out on the optic if you're pairing it with a red dot optic. And it does have what you might call a really decent lifetime guarantee from SIG. You have to go to the SIG site for that. One I want to show you here, let me move that box out of the way so you can see the actual. This is on my Tread AR-15 pistol. And as you see here, this is the Romeo 5, and this is the Juliet 4. Interesting, Romeo and Juliet. Well, that's how they pair it up. One of the things I really like about this particular magnifier is this magnifier is one of the most clearest magnifiers I've ever used. I am a huge Vortex fan as well as a Sig Sauer fan when it comes to their optics, but this is really takes the cake. Let me show you some of the features here. Now on this magnifier, you notice with the back here. Now most optics or whatnot, they will come with as you see, this is a protective cover. Now the protective cover usually solid, and you won't be able to see through this. But this is one of the protective covers that you can actually look through and see through to the other side, even in its closed position. Now, in the open position, you'll be able to look through. I have the cover on the Romeo 5 right now, so that's why you can't see totally through. One of the unique things about this is when you have this, all you have to do is just flip this over, pull it over. I'm going to try to do it best with one hand. Hopefully I can do that. And whoops, and you just flip it over. So if you want to do something like close quarters engagement with your red dot, you'll be able to just flip that over and then get to your red dot. As you see, I did a couple upgrades. I added a SIG, backup irons. They are the flip up variety. You just press and it will come up. As you see, it does not interfere with the magnifier at all. And then you just press to let that down. And right here, it's the same deal with this with the front. And what I like is these are stationary. They won't go anywhere. And of course, there's the hand stop. But that was just to show you some things that I did add to this firearm as well. And it's really good that you can that you could easily flip that over without any issues. And you can pull it with your hand as well to flip it back. Now, speaking of quick, here's your quick release tab here that fits along a Picatinny rail. Now, so a lot of times, a lot of manufacturers, they don't have this quick release tab. So what all you do is, this is a two-stage thing. You have to press right here. You press, and then you pull your tab over, and then that's all there is to it. and then that way you could separate the optic. While I have this apart here, it's adjustable for elevation as well as windage, meaning that it will enable you to line this up properly with your red dot optic. Now, usually, a lot of times you're going to see on my other firearm that you want to at least have this even with your optic to get a decent sight picture. Now I'll show you a little bit on the other firearm that I want to show you. Like I said, I was doing that one-handed, so that's why I had to pause the camera, but it's easy to put back on with no problem. It takes nothing but seconds. Uh, like I said, there's things for elevation and so forth, and it is a really good optic, and I am really astounded by the clarity of that optic for a magnifier, because there is a, you can't see it under here, but if I take this off, you'll have your Doppler that you can make adjustments. When you could turn the Doppler with this cover on to make magnification adjustments, or you can leave this off and you can still make adjustments quickly. Like I said, this is really good because it is clear and you can look through this as a protective covering. And I'm going to show you what's in the box. Okay, one thing I like about this is that the box really comes with a lot of things. This is a pretty big box. Normally, sometimes SIG do a special. They call it the Romeo and Juliet package. And what they'll do is they'll have a red dot paired with their magnifier, which is pretty good. As you see, it's a pretty big box, nicely padded. Of course, there's your manual and so forth. But it does, these are the spacers that I was talking about earlier that you can use. I dropped it. Oh, here it is. So they come with two different spacers or spacers that you can put down into there to even it out, to even the magnifier so it can be at the right height. Also, this is the second one. It does come with a wrench that you can use right here. Fell out of place there. And also, this is just something else, but also it does come with additional screws that you may need to probably make adjustments on and for installation. But one of the other things is, if you look at the front, I'm going to go back to this a little bit, and I am not muzzling myself and just maneuvering it around. Now, if you look right here, this front sight, the front lens right here, you are able to take this front lens off and screw this off. Now, let's say for some unfortunate reason that you broke that lens. The good part is that they do give you a backup lens, which I really think is pretty cool. They give you a backup lens right here that you can just screw in just in case you get that one damaged, whether it could be scratched or broken, whatever the case may be. And I really thought that was pretty well thought out by SIG. And that's really pretty interesting. Now, I'm going to show you a brief comparison with my other one. Like I said, that's the Tread. And I do have my Daniel Defense DDM Force 7P. I really like this particular firearm. This is actually my first really good AR-15. So I just want to show you the difference, and I like to set up everything pretty much similar, so so they can be pretty much matching together, and it's kind of similar to the same manual of arms. Now, there's a little bit of a difference between the two when it comes to these particular optics here, magnifiers. One of the big differences if you notice, this has the quick release. This doesn't have a quick release. You have to use Allen wrenches to take that off, etc. One of the other differences is the way it flips up. Now, you can flip this out on the right side or left side, but I find it convenient on the tread that I can flip it to the right side, and that's the way it comes originally in the box. Is set up to flip to the right side, but on this particular one on the Vortex, this is the Vortex that I recently picked up for this firearm. Let me get that model number for you. Yeah, this is the Vortex VMX-3T. Now, one of the things I like about this is a good optic. It's made with the same tough material as the Sig Sauer is, but if you notice, I mentioned that you could flip it over, flip the optic over out of the way. Now, I set it up on the left side, meaning that I could flip the optic over on my left. So you would have to press and hold and then flip over. That is pretty much what you have to do, and press again and then flip over. The reason being is because if I'm in a shooting situation, I do not want to take my shooting hand off of the controls on this side to flip it over on this side, because you have to press that mechanism to unlock it to flip over the other side. So I find it a little bit cumbersome to when it originally came on the right side, to basically try to flip it over the right side. So it's like crossing my arm over too much, because this switch right here, this mechanism to let it go free, is on the right side. So I would literally have to put my hand over here to not break my grip from my shooting hand to flip it over on the right. So that's the reason why I put this on the left side, because I don't want to break contact with my shooting hand and then just reach over and flip it over that way. But it's so much easier if I won't break contact here, because I don't have to do the extra action of pressing. All I do is just reach over and flip it over, and it's not that drastic for me to move my arm over to avoid breaking my grip. One of the other things is when you're shooting and I'm right-handed, so if you have your AR-15, a lot of times if you have let's say your firearm on a sling, this side of the firearm is going to touch your chest. So this will be out of the way. If you have this configured the way I have it, and you lay it up against your chest, you're going to feel this optic on your chest. But like I said, it's a preferred setup because I don't want to break contact with my shooting hand. It's not a big deal, but just to bring that point out to everyone. So I just wanted to make a brief comparison between these two firearms, and that's if you're going to do a setup like that with a magnifier. So that's the reason why I decided to show you that real quick. Like I said, this is a very good magnifier with the crossfire red dot optic. But however, this is the better setup, because, like I mentioned before, the clarity that this optic has. One of the other things I forgot to mention is with the Romeo 5, the Romeo 5 has something called MOTAC, which everybody's pretty much familiar with. When the firearm is laid down for an extended period of time, it will shut off, and then when you move it through your motion, it will turn it back on. The Crossfire, though, it is a very, very good. I really love the Crossfire uh, red dot optic, but it doesn't have that capability of the motion sensor on there. And but what I really like is this does give a tactile turn, so you know well where it is. So you know when you're flipping the dial here when it goes to 0, you know it's off. On this one, you have to press and hold and look to visually see if the red dot is off. But like I said, this is probably a good preferred setup because of the clarity and so forth. I'm just so used to shooting this particular setup, but I'm going to maybe switch them up and see which one I prefer, just to see how things go versus the Daniel Defense versus here with the tread, and I'll switch them back and forth. Well, that's all I pretty much have to say about these about this optic setup with the magnifier. Uh, it's a very good buy. I would recommend it to anyone based on its clarity and it's this ability, just like Vortex. It does have that lifetime limited lifetime guarantee. I can recommend both of these, but this would be the way I would go uh, if you want something a little bit more rugged or have the Motac system. So, with that said, happy shooting, stay safe, hashtag 2A.